Hello, my name is Ivan, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about stain colors. What's popular, what isn't, what works, what doesn't work. So I'll show you in our store some samples of colors that we do, what's popular, what people are looking for nowadays, and um, let's just dive right in. So as you can see here, there's lots of different colors, a lot of different shades, and you can see a lot of these are custom mixed colors. All these right here, you can see all these different, a lot of grays, a lot of gray tones in here. All these here as well. See all gray colors. All these, right? Most of these are on oak woods. Um, Here, all these lighter colors, light almonds and stuff. But most of these are on oak. Oak is probably the best wood to use when you're staining. It gives you a nice even look. And see, all these are on oak. These are your more traditional shades. All the browns, oranges, reds, mahoganies, colors that most of us are used to. Again, here's some more colors. Again, traditional colors. You're getting into a little deeper, darker. Some of these are on maple, like these are on maple here. These are on oak. So you can see the difference. But these colors here on maple, they've all been sprayed on, meaning they tinted it, they mixed it into their lacquer, and then they spray it. That's why you see such an even profile on the wood. You don't see any blotchiness or anything like that. So most times maple, they'll spray it. So they mix about 5% of the stain into the lacquer and then they tone it. So it comes out looking so even. Um, you can see some here on oak. These are all wiped on, but they have a slight shade to them. Shading means shading, fogging, ghosting. That only means that they've mixed a little bit of stain into the lacquer and then they shade it. They spray it on like that one. See, that's shaded. Well, most of these are all shaded, but they put a little bit of stain on the wood first. That's something you can do if you've got a spray gun, you're good at spraying. But if you're not, the best thing to do is to wipe it on, and you can mix a little bit of stain into your clear coat by brushing it on. So you'll use like a brushing polyurethane and you'll mix a bit of stain into it to give it a little bit more depth, a little bit more texture. Most of these, in fact, almost all of these we've done here, like these ones, these are all ones that we did that we just wiped it on, left it on, and then just wiped the stain lightly. So it gives you a little bit of depth, clarity as well. So you're not. It doesn't look like a big, paint sample. You can still see the wood grain and everything, which is important. Same with that one. A lot of these are all wiped on. Some of these look like they're sprayed, but they're not. They're all wiped. The other difference is it's easy to make it look like this. For example, this one. It's easy to make it look like this when you're doing something that's only about 2 or 3 inches long. It's a lot more difficult to do it when you've got a whole long piece because it's a little bit more difficult to control. But as you can see, the smaller the piece you're doing, the better the result. The larger the piece, the more difficult it is to try and achieve the color you're looking for. That's why in many instances, when they varnish it, they'll put a little bit of stain into the clear coat, and as a result, that gives you a little bit of deeper depth. Same with this kind of a brown oaky shade. This is a wiped on stain. The name of it, what is this? Honey stain. Again, wiped on and then clear lacquer on top. That's pretty much a matte finish lacquer, which would be about 15%, 10%. Now the percentage is, let me show you here. The percentage here, like the numbers here, 20, 40, and 60. The higher the number, the higher the gloss. Okay, so you see it matte 20, satin 40, semi-gloss 60, gloss 80. So sometimes people will give you numbers. And numbers, the higher the number, the higher the sheen. Lower the number, the lower the sheen. So that'll give you an indication of what they're talking about. They can go all the way down to 0, which is nothing. But that indicator gives you an idea of how shiny you're looking for. You can go 35, 50, different sheens. So like in polyurethane, you can see gloss, semi-gloss, satin, flat, right? So in this case, they don't use a sheen number, but you can see the gloss there when the light hits it. See that? Versus semi, not so shiny. You get to satin, little bit of a sheen there, and then flat, which is almost nothing. Right? When the light hits it, you can kind of see it's very low compared to that. See? So that's gloss in a number valuation would be somewhere between 80 and 90. And this is on oak, and that's an oil-based polyurethane, which gives it a bit of a honey amber color versus, say, water-based up here. Much more clarity. See? Same idea, gloss. See, shiny, same all the way down, but more clarity. So much more clear here versus here. They are on different woods though. This is on maple, that's on oak. But you'd still see a bit less amber with water-based versus the lacquer-based. Now, going back to stains, of course, the richness of color, the depth. See, we have all oil-based stains. Water-based, we don't carry because they don't have as much depth to them. They're not as good, quite frankly, but you can use them. Less smell, and they're better for the environment, so they say. But oil-based gives you much more depth, much more variety of color, and a better result all around. Deeper richness, especially all these kind of burgundy and all these kind of colors, right? And so it's a personal choice. All these ones here as well, you can see they're all clear coated and stained, but all oil based all the way down. And different richnesses of color, but all wiped on, and then they've done a light shade again, meaning they've mixed the stain with the lacquer and they tone it. But the color itself is primarily on what look you're trying to go for, what tone, texture, as well as the look, meaning for an interior versus an exterior use. That makes a big difference because you don't know, depending on the wood, what kind of look you're gonna get. You might want a red color, but the wood might be too brown, and so you may not get that red color. Or if you want a gray color, but you have poplar, which is a very green wood, and green kills red, and there's other chemical and technical theories involved, but mostly it just means that you have to be a little more picky and choosy about the color and the wood, because if you this oak, right, you can see different colors already being attempted on here, and in some cases gray colors like this, they don't look gray. They kind of look black, but it's supposed to look gray. And the wood itself doesn't allow that. Here, the more whiter, lighter kind of gray tones, they do kind of come through. But darker ones, not as much because of the black. So you have to kind of, you can see here, see? A lot of gray, light gray, misty gray colors, which you can see better because of the white, the amount of white in the stain, and the fact that the wood allows that. But on darker shades, you don't see as much. This doesn't really look gray. That one doesn't. But they're supposed to. So you have to be conscious of the wood that you've chosen and the color that you're going for. There's a few other examples. For example, like here, where you can see, right, there's a bit more brown in these colors because of the wood itself. So you have to combat the color of the wood, which is a very yellowy orange tone. Right, you can see the bare wood here, and it's got a lot of yellow and orange in it versus a wood that, maple or something, or a piece of oak that's very white. So these are things you have to be conscious of when you're picking stains. But again, you can like see here different woods, like this is fir, right? Straight grained, very, very narrow grained fir, and it's very orange. You can see the bare wood there. So everything on here looks orange. If you try these colors on different woods, they'll come out looking much different. Like, for example, here's a kind of, let me see here, this color, fiddle tone cherry. It's upside down, but you can see the color there. Okay, now if I show you the same color on here, see if I can find it, fiddle tone cherry, it's here somewhere, right there, much brighter, more honey tone to it, right? So you can see the difference right away in the color, right? You can see it there versus there. So you can kind of see the tone difference, right? See there, and then same color there. So you see that? You can see it better like that. Oak, much lighter wood. You see more of the tone of the color. Here you're seeing more of the tone of the wood because more of the tone of the wood coming through, which is orangey red. This color on oak is very white wood, so you're seeing more of the wood coming through. So that's what I mean when I say you have to be conscious of the wood that you're going to use, and pick a wood that you think will accentuate the color that you're trying to get to. Don't pick fir just because you like fir. If you're trying to get a gray color, it's not going to work. You always have some orange coming through, and you can see it in all of these colors. They're very orangey because of the wood, right? Like this is dark walnut, which it shouldn't really look like that. Dark walnut really should look something along that line. So you can see the orange here versus the brown there. So I know it says perfect brown underneath it, but on a proper piece of wood, that's what you should get with dark walnut. On here, it looks much more yellowy orange because of the hue of the wood versus there. So you have to be conscious of that when you're picking your woods and choosing the stain color. Um, these are things that you have to think about with stain when you're picking the stain, and then you're picking the wood that you want to work with for your project. It's very important to look at that and think about which 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 stain, which wood, and then go from there, because oak is a really great wood. Like light colors, dark colors, doesn't matter. They're all coming through really nicely. Firs and poplars, and pine and beech and all these kind of woods, they don't get as better result. People use them because they're a little cheaper sometimes, and the look of the grain and everything. But when you're staining those woods, they don't come out as well. So you have to be conscious of that when picking your stain colors. But as far as colors are concerned, for the most part, you'll get something. It won't be exactly the same, but you can see it here. So be conscious of what you're do, what what kind of wood you should be using, and what kind of stain you should be getting for that project. Don't pick the wood and then get the stain. Think about the stain you're going to use, and then get a wood that will work with it. People sometimes do it the other way around, but it's important to think about the two of them together. What wood will show off the color I want the best, not what wood will look the best. It's really important when you choose that. So those are basic things that you should think about. So that is a basic primer for you for now, for stains, woods, and what to pick, when to use, and we'll go into more detail later. But for now, I just want to do a video just showing you the wood colors, the tones, the type of woods, and the differences in the tones. So my name is Ivan. Channel is Woodworking 101 by Ivan. So subscribe and subscribe, like, tell your friends. We'll be doing all sorts of things on this channel with woodworking. So best of luck, and I will be back soon with another great video. Thank you for watching.